broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the AFTERBUZZ TV's after show for Sailor Moon Crystal. We are here talking Act 16, Sailor Mercury abduction. Yes, I am Kaori Takee, and I'm joined by two awesome people over there. Names, go ahead.
Markeia McCarty. You can find me on Twitter at MarkeiaMcCarty.
And I'm Xander Jeanneret, and you can find me at Twitter at Xanderific, 2 R's, 1 F.
Yes, and you can tweet us all along the way as well with the hashtag ABTV Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon.
That's
because if we say Crystal, there's 140 characters out the door. So, overall thoughts of this episode, guys. What'd you think?
Ooh, I actually enjoyed this episode because of the character development.
Yes.
It's like, how wonderful was that? I mean, it's still the same length for the episode, but we get to go into Ami's. I keep on calling her that.
You can say
Ami.
Ami. Yeah.
We keep on going into Ami's psyche. We learn about her parents. We learn about just like that inner working, and they brought the chess thing in.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, Sailor Mercury's my favorite Sailor Scout.
Oh, I kind of guessed that through your tweet.
I know.
Right?
You had that GIF just waiting to be used.
With her, like, awkward pose.
Yeah.
No, but I love her because, you know, as a kid growing up as, like, a nerdy kid, you want to root for the nerdy superheroes.
Yeah.
And she was the one that would figure it out. Even if she didn't have any powers, she would still be valuable to the team,
That's
like, figuring
right.
everything out.
Yeah.
Power of intelligence.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like they developed her a lot more in this act than they developed Ray in last act.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's because Sailor Ray. Like, why not? She's good, and it's kind of sad that they're both gone, but I mean, I guess that's good in a way because it's gonna lead to a lot more going on.
Right.
So yeah, I also really enjoyed this episode. I had to watch it twice because I felt like at the same time there was a lot of information bunched up into 22 minutes as well. I mean, obviously the character development, then you got the new baddies, a little more development on them, and of course we have to talk about Chibiusa.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
man.
So, all right, let's talk about Chibiusa first because she's obviously very important. People are trying to get her, and the Sailor Scouts unknowingly are kind of protecting her, you know, and as a result, losing the they're losing each other. So
they're getting abducted.
Yeah,
Being burnt in a sphere and not being in a water sphere.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Chibiusa in this particular version now?
Man, well, she is so not a brat.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
She's more of like the lost time traveler, like little girl looking for some comfort, as opposed to like the bratty girl in the classic episode.
You do feel a lot worse for her in this one. She touches a sentimental string, I guess you can say. Yeah.
She's playing on that string, definitely. And it's like, even with Usagi, at this point, she's the only one that finds her suspicious in any way, shape, or form. Like, to the point where Usagi was, wait, you were hanging out with Mamoru-chan?
I always find that so weird.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting jealous of a little girl. Aside from the fact that she's your daughter and you don't know it yet, it's just weird because she is at least, well, I guess Usagi is supposed to be 14, 15, but she's still a lot younger, you know, and it's weird.
Well, I always thought that there was this kind of like psychology aspect to it because I think when and I don't have any experience this, but when mothers have children, like there is kind of that like the depression afterwards and the attention to a baby, and it's not like the romantic love that you'd had before. So she's kind of experiencing that without realizing that that's her actual child.
Yeah.
So it's like prepartum depression?
Right? Yeah.
I know, right?
Oh my goodness.
She doesn't know yet. I mean,
that's a whole new part of psychology.
I get it though in a sense that she just finally got all her memories back and she wants to spend some time with her man, but this cute little girl is taking that man's time. And he really is. He's and I remember this kind of frustrated me in the past that Mamo-chan is basically spending a lot of time, and he's going to be spending a lot of time with Chibi, and that's gonna make Usagi feel neglected, right? So, what you guys think of how he took care of her? He went to go get her at the park. He had a creepy little Mamo-chan doll.
The tuxedo mask doll.
I was like, okay.
What? It brought back the rose.
Yeah, that's true.
The rose with the tuxedo mask puppet.
Yeah.
I know that there are a lot of complaints between like the contrast of the old series and the new series, but what I think is really missing from this new series is Mamo-chan's sweater collection. The old one, he had the greatest outfits. They were so ridiculously like 80s.
Lavender sweater. Loved it.
But he's pretty hot now, though. I mean, you know.
He's just someone to fawn over now.
I do enjoy that he stopped wearing his tuxedo in daytime hours.
Ruining your disguise.
It's like you caught on.
It's like if Clark Kent walked around in a Superman outfit.
With the glasses.
With the glasses on.
So Chibiusa is opening up basically the most to Mamo-chan as a result because he's taking care of her. And then she introduces inherently the viewers to Luna P. And Luna trips out. Like, wait a minute.
What?
It's like, how did I not notice this floating, bouncing ball that looks just like
And they draw Luna draws the conclusion that she's not someone to be worried about right now. As she's talking to Artemis, and we don't see Artemis enough, by the way.
We never see him anymore.
I'm like, where did he go?
Hanging out with Venus?
Yeah, when the Venus episode comes up, we'll probably see a lot of Artemis.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if once Venus gets taken away, will Artemis go with her? I guess we'll see.
Can I say something that I really enjoyed about this episode? Well, along with the character development of Ami, along with her, we got some of the character development on the bad guys side. Like with his name's not Prince Diamond, it's like Prince Diamond. Like him, and then dynamic between him, Sapphire, and Rubius. I was like, oh yes.
One of them looks like Darien, you know?
Yeah, I think that's Sapphire. The smaller guy.
Like, wait a minute.
Oh.
I found that in the classic too. And I really, with the Spectre sisters,
I love the Spectre sisters.
Yeah, like Birdie was her name in the classic, and it was like Berthier. Yeah, but I liked the drive that they had for her. She had a little bit more personality than we got to see with what was her name? Cora?
I forgot.
Cone or something.
Cone,
Cone. It's Kaon, something like that. Yeah. So like you get some backstory on her. Like she actually exists in this world. She's the 3rd ranked chess champion in the world, unless she did some hypnotist.
I'm like,
thing.
okay.
That was definitely because their master plan is to lure out the specific scouts, and so they're like matching them up, and they're like, this is how I can get Ami to come out.
And so far the pattern is, because I haven't read that far off into the manga, so from what I know is that I guess this one Spectre sister has to die for the others to capture the other one. It's weird. Are they dead? Okay, no, don't.
I'm not reading the manga. I just want to enjoy the episodes as is.
Okay, fair enough. We'll have this conversation later. Okay.
Do like YouTube comments with people, and I just won't read them.
My impatience is not very good. But yeah, I agree. Like the big baddies in this particular arc, far more creepier than the first half that we saw at the beginning of this season, I guess.
Sure, the second arc.
First arc.
Well, one of the things that I like to bring up is that when this was like coming out as a manga the first time, it was kind of like defining the genre of the magical girl.
Yeah.
And really there wasn't anything that was like that was targeted in this way. All that they had to go over was Super Sentai, which I'm a huge fan of, which is like Power Rangers. And so they have that model where you want to introduce the whole team, get to the fighting, get to a big bad, and then do the development of each of the individual members. And they kind of had the scapegoat of like, well, they can all be friends because they were friends in the past life, or they were guardians in the past life.
Yeah. And then you have that automatic attraction to each person.
Right.
So then it's like you don't have to dwell too much in the backstory where it's like, hey, oh my God, you're awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but you are.
And we were
besties
besties last life.
So let's talk about Sailor Mercury. Obviously, this was her episode. You know, we've got a lot of development from her. Did you guys really like watching her and finding out what's happened with her parents in the past? And, you know, just finding out that she is a great chess player as well. Just a lot of development for her.
I was so feeling her this episode. Like, you don't even understand. Like, when her and... I'll just call her B.
Berthier, whatever.
When her and Berthier were doing the chess game and Berthier is trying to psych her out, she's like succeeding. She has the piece of the Malefic Black Crystal, and she's just pushing all of those buttons. And then when Ami just bursts out with, yes, you know, I am alone, but all of these people, I might have to say goodbye to the important people that are in my life, but our connections will never fade.
Tears.
The connections that we had.
Did you tear?
I did.
I was like, oh my God, that is so beautiful, because yes, it happens. You know, people move away, relationships end, but that doesn't change the fact of what you had during that time.
That's so true.
So it's like,
how many times do they have to lose each other, these poor sailor girls? So sad. It's funny, though, that Usagi was the one, by being wild and crazy and loud and obnoxious.
Shouting out.
Yeah, from the top of the stage. By the way, I've never seen this a chess competition being placed at a theater like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, it does exist, and like there is that kind of hush that goes on because they're concentrating, and this is like a championship match, and then does it have this girl in like outrageous pigtails like blurt things out, and she doesn't know what's going on in the game at all.
She didn't even know what she won.
Did she win?
She's like, she win. I loved it. It got really tense, the whole the chess game. It was well played, no pun intended. And I also like the fact that they used a lot of water elements for Ami, because it, you know, obviously that's her element, and it was nice to see her swimming in it and helping stop the pipes because she's good with water.
She can sense the flow of water.
Yeah,
she's used that before. On the other thing, she did like locate people. I think she had used like interrupting the flow.
Oh, has she?
I think so.
It's possible. I mean, we always talk about how my memory is not very good here.
I absolutely loved when she came out to fight, where it's like, okay, right. Absolutely love, you know, here comes the visors down, and I'm going to scan all of my enemies' stats.
Love it.
Yeah. Like, okay, these are dolls disguised as people. Let's play.
And I like her attack, the new one.
The ice-based one.
It was really cool. Just now she's gone too.
Right.
It's just I wish she wasn't. And Ray too.
It might not be for too long.
Yeah.
But that suffocation thing. No.
Yeah, when she said I can't breathe, I felt really bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst feeling.
And I don't know if you've talked about this before, but bringing up the element stuff, it was really apparent in this because you got to see her full name up on the screen.
Yeah.
That each of the Sailor Scouts have their element in their last name. So her name is Ami Mizuno.
Yeah.
And like knows like the possessive for Mizu, which means water. Ooh. And if you say it in the Japanese order, it's Mizuno Ami. So like Ami of the water.
That's
and
beautiful.
It's the same thing with Tsukino Usagi. It's the rabbit of the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you find it funny that they kept saying rabbit for Chibi Usa?
Yeah, but it makes sense with Usagi.
Yeah, it does.
And then I'm really excited about Sailor Moon.
Do it.
There are like more layers to it because like how Americans would say we see a man in the moon. In Japanese, the legend is there's a rabbit. They see a rabbit on the moon pounding mochi, like the rice thing. So that's why it ties into Tsukino Usagi is the rabbit of the moon. And so there's whole things tied into the names.
Everything kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. There's a reason behind everything.
Wasted. It all means something.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's your little nugget.
I mean, what else is there to talk about this episode? What do you guys think is going to happen in the next episode coming up?
Kind of know-ish, but they hint at it in the preview that it's going to be Sailor Jupiter based.
that's something I watched just recently with Markeia, and for me, that part, I felt like they didn't show enough Sailor Jupiter for that preview. I'm like, why? And then they said Sailor Jupiter. I'm like, okay.
Well, when you think about it, though, with like Jupiter, I mean, she has the cooking, and that's like a big part of her thing. But then she also has the boy craziness, and they did have in the preview.
Yes.
With his original name was Andrew. I forget what his name is for this.
I forget too.
The arcade guy.
Was it the arcade guy, or is it the guy that's like obsessed with Mamocham, like the younger student?
It might be.
I thought the arcade guy just looked like him or something like that.
Okay, cool.
Because they made like a kind of mistake in the English subtitles when they introduced him, because it said first grade student, and I think they meant first year student. Because otherwise that'd be real creepy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions.
And I feel really stupid.
Yeah, no.
This is a first grader.
Yeah.
Is there something else you guys want to talk about this particular act? Because there's so much, and I'm just...
One of the shots that I absolutely loved for this episode was after Sailor Mercury is taken away, and you have, then there's that three shot where you have Sailor Moon right there in front, and then I believe it was Sailor Jupiter, and then Sailor Venus further off, and then you've got this wide shot of like the rest of the parking lot, and then you realize that it's just the three of them, and then it just like shifts a bit, and then you have the view of Chibiusa like watching them, and then rehearing in her head where it's like, Sailor Moon, she's invincible, and then you just see this empty parking lot with just the three of them, and another member has been taken, and I loved it.
I think
it's poetic.
They're really good visually. I think, and I wanted to point out, I loved Ami's music. The theme when she was playing chess, it was like a new theme, and it was a great sound to like just her. It fit her, and it was intense. I liked it. So
I wanted to talk about too. When I first started watching Crystal, I was a bit upset that they had switched over to like CG graphics for the transformation sequences, because that's what I loved about the original, was like the hand drawn animation. But this episode, when Ami was transforming, I was like, okay, I'm into it. Like finally, it took up to this point where I'm like, yeah, all right, that fits.
I really like the transformations. Sometimes we don't get enough of it. And sometimes you're like, they're really gonna do all 5 of the transformations right now. But they're all great. So that's what I love about Sailor Moon Crystal, is they just the sounds and everything. So is there anything else? I mean,
well, just one little thing. Little itty bitty
It might be a big thing.
It's just like with with the bad guys, master plan to draw out the sympathetic power. Before we had a Kaon, where it's like, oh, and I'm going to start a rival sci-fi group and fortune telling to then draw. And then this was, I'm going to challenge her to chess on TV, and I know she'll be watching.
There's a little cheese.
Or it'll get the word out that like everybody will talk to her and like, you gotta do this.
I think she'd be a really fun character to cosplay, the third Spectre sister, Berthier.
If only for that braid right there.
Because that outfit, like being allowed on Japanese television, like
I know,
like, I'm a chess player. It's like, are you?
Are you sure?
I'm wearing a lab coat. So
I know.
But for the last episode, the UFO thing might come in later. That might have been foreshadowing if they keep it in. Maybe. So it has to do with both Sailor Mars and maybe something else.
I need to read and keep quiet for Markeia.
Sure.
Now there's gonna be so many people that are like, I wanted to hear what they said about manga, and I'm like, oh well, come on the show then.
You can always tweet us, it works.
Tweet or like do the comments on YouTube and then, like do the back and forth.
All right, let's I guess we'll talk about some news and gossip.
Cool.
Sounds.
TV News.
All right, today on Sailor Moon Crystal After Show Talk, we have... Okay, my voice is really not going to last that long. Apparently, there is a new key visual that is going to be airing with Sailor Moon Crystal in Japan. Here it is. And for those listening, it's basically Usagi transforming, but her head is super tilted back.
Like ragdoll physics are in full effect.
Yes. And there's some people that really don't like it, and some people that really love it. I am someone that really likes it. What do you guys think?
Do not like it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's beautifully drawn. I love the sparkle. I love the elements, and I do love what they're doing with the hair. I do not like whenever, and it happens in comic books too, when they just bend women's bodies.
Yeah.
It only happens to women.
Yeah.
They bend women's bodies like it's a rubber spine just so that they can hit, butt and boobs.
Yeah.
And I cannot stand that.
I see.
It is so demeaning and derogatory, and it's just like, why do we need that? It's beautifully drawn, but I
totally
that.
see your perspective.
Yeah.
But see, I don't see it that way. I see it as she's a beautiful girl, and it's great to show off her body. That's how I see it.
However inhuman it looks.
Yeah, what do you think?
Well, it's a good way to show off the whole costume.
Yeah.
Like, you've got every element of the costume in there. And then she does kind of do that pose when she's getting the tiara in the transformation sequence. But, yeah, it's very bendy, weird looking.
But I feel like it just shows how flexible she is in general.
Nobody's that flexible. Nobody.
Okay, I'm about to do this. No, I'm just kidding.
What is it? An Armstrong doll.
Yeah, Stretch Armstrong.
Even he wasn't that flexible.
Well, that's why she's, Sailor Moon.
Yeah. I can see both perspectives.
Yeah, I like it. And so let us know if you like it or dislike it. So, and another news bit, Sailor Moon is going to have a character song album, Sailor Moon Crystal. So coming out in Japan, they are going to release a character song album, basically different characters and the music, the soundtrack. They're gonna have an album. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yes, the Momoyo Clover Z song, the Moon Pride, is still amazing.
It's so good.
I love it. I love it when a Sailor Moon part chips in, and then I'm like,
yeah. I love the Sailor Moon Classics soundtrack too. I remember buying that, and there's that one song, My Only Love, and then Rainy Day Man. I had those, and I was on repeat all the time.
Have you listened to the original Japanese? Like, they had a theme for each of the Sailor Scouts, and sometimes they would play it and sometimes they wouldn't. But if you listen to it, it's like that 70s, like, like Sailor Mars or something like that. It's really great to go back and listen to.
We should YouTube that.
Yeah.
yes.
All right, guys. Well, I guess that's all my news and gossip, and we kind of did some predictions.
Sure.
Yeah. We can do more, maybe. I don't know.
Ooh.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV.
I like Markeia's predictions.
Oh yeah. I'd like to hear what you think.
Yeah, yours are good.
Oh, well, it's pretty like laid out that, Sailor Jupiter is going to be the next one taken. I mean, if we want to do more predictions like further on in the future.
Yeah, let's go further.
With things.
Let's go further.
Like, do you think there's a reason that they're being taken, or do you think that it's just like part of the tactic to get to Sailor Moon?
I think that the reason why they're taking the sympathetic powers is because obviously they're from the future, Crystal, Tokyo, and such, and they know that those are the ones that are protecting, those are the huge protectors that are protecting Chibiusa and sleeping Queen Serenity and also Mamoru-chan.
Yeah. Him.
Yes, him, that guy that I can't call Darien. So I think the reason why their first attack, yes, of course they're looking for Chibi. They want Chibi. That's the number one thing. But they're trying to get them out of the way first because they are the first line of defense. So if they grab them from the past, they pretty much consider her defenseless, where they can get a hold of her. So I think that is the reason why. And I'll take it even a step further. If they have them under their control, I think that they would try to utilize their power in some way to their own devices.
Yeah.
I would love to see that happen, actually.
It's kind of getting back to them underestimating Sailor Moon and like the power that she has on her own, because they think if we take her friends away, she has nothing.
Yeah.
And they've been reinforcing that, like, no, Sailor Moon is very powerful. Sailor Moon's invincible. And then you saw that break. Like, is she? Well,
they're also emphasizing a lot on, like you said, the importance of her friendships and how important they are to her. So having them kind of disappear little by little makes her weaker. So, I mean, that's a really good prediction.
Yeah, and you can see it taking its toll, because one of the things I liked about Sailor Moon's appearance, or Usagi's appearance in this episode, was her little outburst at the chess game, because you don't see that fun, playful Usagi anymore.
Yeah.
Because her friends are being stolen, and that's like weighing down on the whole series.
Yeah.
Every character.
And I think we're going to see a lot more development of every character moving forward. So I think a lot of people will be happy with that. I'm totally fine with the pace, but there's a lot of like YouTube comments or whatnot of why is there no character development on the show. Right. But I mean,
well, you know, they had to get that ball rolling.
Exactly.
You know, they already knew that they have a fan base for this, so there's no reason to drag your heels with things. You know, and now they've actually slowed down a little bit, and they're starting to, you know, build some more. You know, starting to flesh out the world, flesh out the other characters, but not too much because you've got 22 minutes.
I know.
You gotta cram the action in.
And they finally showed. I mean, they took, you know, how many acts to show the intensity of the love between Sailor Moon and Mamo, and so finally now they can develop on other characters, which is totally fine because their love is basically the core.
Nothing says love like murder suicide.
That happened.
That was really intense.
That was super intense.
That made me cry. I will cry again if I watch that. I'm like, oh my God. So, well, thank you guys so much for tuning in for our Sailor Moon Crystal after show. In the meantime, you can continue to follow AfterBuzz at AfterBuzz TV. Subscribe, comment, rate, all that good stuff. And you can follow my lovely friends. Where at?
You can follow me at Markeia McCarty. I spelled it at the beginning. Let's talk some Sailor Moon or wrestling. I love that too.
Oh, wow. Go ahead and tweet me at Xanderific, 2Rs1F, and again, Sailor Moon, or anything nerdy, really.
Yeah, thank you so
Doctor
much.
Who.
Let's talk
Doctor Who.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, anytime.
Yeah, we are definitely going to bring you back on. Yay! Yeah, he's great. And you can hashtag ABTV Sailor Moon No Crystal to continue questions and comments.
No Crystal.
Well, no, not that. And you can follow me at KAORIOUS at Kaorius, and we will catch you guys in 2 weeks for another Sailor Moon Crystal show.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.